Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Hello everyone, my name is Bionic Sun and welcome back to the new Eriador server. As you saw in the time-lapse at the beginning of this episode, we built this nice ship, which is actually my first ever non-functional build. Since the end of the time-lapse, I spent some time doing some detail work around the front of the ship at the bottom, so if we just take a look. Here at the front I put in some stairs and half slabs and stuff just to give it a bit more detail. I also decided to go with sideways planks instead of upwards facing ones. I should say that this is not my design, I just followed a tutorial on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description. And I also put these fence posts up here, and if we just take a look inside the boat, there's an entrance down here. If we can get through. Let's not drown. Yeah, here we go. So this is the bottom of the boat where all the shipmates would be sleeping. So lots of beds, some storage space, some more storage space. And then if we go up here onto the deck, we see that there's the deck. And up here where you steer the boat. And I went with a folded sail because I thought since the boat isn't going to be going anywhere, it's just going to be sitting here. I hear a zombie somewhere. Can't see him anywhere. And in here we have the captain's cabin, where he has some bookcases, some more storage, and some workbenches and a bed. So, as I said, non-functional build, doesn't really serve any purpose except that it looks nice, and I think it will go quite nicely in with the theme that we've got going here, especially considering the building materials that we've got available to us. We've got stone, and I see Java Dad is using some diorite as well, and we have lots of spruce as well. Over here you'll notice that I've been busy rounding up some animals. I managed to find a couple of pigs and a couple of sheep to get ready for today's episode, and I've also been breeding on mushroom cows, where 2 of them have been turned upside down. I think this must be one of the other members who had some spare name tags and decided to give them their dinner bone, which turns mobs or animals upside down. Let's just take care of this baby zombie. And another thing we also managed to get was Jakabok, who travelled to a jungle biome in his first video. I'll put the link in the description for that one as well. He managed to get some cocoa beans and some jungle wood, and he was kind enough to give us some of that. So we'll be making a small cocoa bean farm as well, so that we can make some cookies and some cake, and in that way we should be covered for all the types of food groups that we can actually, or food items that we can actually make here in our confined area. Some of the things I wasn't able to find were rabbits, pumpkins and melons, so we are limited in that respect. But one thing I didn't place on our wall of possible food items was the fish, because we have a nice fishing rod with mending and lure. So we're able to get some cooked fish and some cooked salmon as well. I mentioned in the last episode that I wanted to do what was called a meat floor, where we would go down and the other floor would be the meat farms. We'd have a cooked pork from the pigs, steak from the cows, and the mutton from the sheep. But I think what we'll try and do is actually fit everything into this floor. So I think what I'll do is put an automatic chicken farm here in this 6x2 area. Pig farm here in this 3x3 area. And then we may have to bring these walls back a couple of blocks to make room for a sheep farm and a cow farm. And then we'll see what we can do about the cocoa beans. And we also need some sugar cane actually if we're going to make some cake. So I'll make a cut here, and then I'll see you in a second when we make a start with the farms. So I went ahead and finished the chicken farm. It's pretty much the same design as many other chickens farms that you'll see, except that because we're not allowed in the nether, I don't have access to quartz, so I can't use a comparator. Where the more recent design uses a comparator to tell when an egg is being shot or an egg is in the hopper, and then it uses this signal to pulse the lava into the chickens' heads. But I had to use a pretty simple clock. I'll just show it to you quickly. With a torch going back on itself with a couple of repeaters for some delay. And I also took this signal and ran it into the dispenser for the lava. I don't actually think this is lossless because some of the eggs that are being thrown out from the dispenser, when the chickens hatch, they sometimes burn in the lava, and I'm not 100% sure of the timings either. in this clock. I think the items should be okay from the chickens when they grow up. It should go into this chest, but we'll check back on that later. Maybe if some of you have some advice on what timings I should use, whether I should change this circuit, this clock in any way, maybe to improve the design, let me know. And I also have a small access area for the cedar chickens in case more are needed. If we actually check the F3 screen, it says 100, but that includes the babies down there. I think that should be enough. I mean, we're just going to leave it, and it will just generate chicken as we're working in the area. So we don't really need hundreds of chickens in there. But that's the chicken farm. I'm just going to show you how loud and annoying it actually is, which is why I installed this lever to turn it off. So both the clicking and the eggs being dispensed, and also the lava coming in and out of the dispenser is pretty annoying, which is why I installed this switch. So that's it for the chicken farm. I'm going to close this area off, like so. Then this chicken farm fits in quite nicely into this little corner. So the next thing I'll get onto is the pig farm. We now have our pig farm ready. I went with a design by Skippy 6 Gaming. I'll put a link to his tutorial in the video description. I quite like his design because it fits in quite nicely in a 3 tall room. Very thin. I went ahead and simplified some of his redstone for his lava dispenser. So we have a button down here for the lava dispenser, which is the one you see behind there. And then we have the water dispenser here for breeding the pigs. And if we take a look, the button for the lava dispenser is merely just hooked up to this line of redstone with a torch tower leading up to a block just behind the dispenser. Okay, so basically the adult pigs, they stand on this iron bar, and then just behind them, I don't think you can see it, there's an iron trapdoor, upper trapdoor just behind them, so that once the pigs are bred, then the babies will follow through. But I think I'll just show you the pigs burning up. So it's just lava to their head, and then you can turn it off again. And then all the pork chop goes in here. There's a couple of blocks there as well. So you see, cooked pork chop. And here you can see that the bred pigs stand on this iron trapdoor, which is on top of a hopper leading into the chest. Then we have these double iron bars, which, as I said, is where the adults stand. And I'm not sure, no, you can't really see it, but there is an iron trapdoor up there as well, so that the babies can get through. But I think we should just breed them on camera. Press this to make them bob up and down so that you can breed them easily. So let's try and get everyone. And there you see the babies are dropping through. I don't have too many pigs in here. I don't really want to create too much lag in the area. With that being said, let's actually turn off the chicken farm. And you can actually leave it like that if you want to get some eggs from this chicken farm as well. And another thing I forgot to mention was that I changed the timings on the repeaters on the clock behind here. Now they're both set to 4 ticks of delay, and that seems to work much better. You still get some of the eggs hatching chickens and then burning up in the lava, but I mean it's a AFK farm. As you can see, we've got plenty of cooked chicken here as well. But I'm actually going to turn that to lava. Like that, so then these chickens will burn up, and then we reduce the number of mobs, or passive mobs here in the area, so that should help with lag. Now these pigs are bred. Turn off the water. The babies are down here. There's actually only 2 of them, but that's okay. And then we just wait for them to grow up, and then dispense the lava. So very simple. Cooked pork chop farm. It was actually very difficult to get these adult pigs in here. The first batch of pigs that I had ended up dying because some gravel fell on their heads and they suffocated inside a block, so I had to go for another trip to find some more pigs. And the second batch of pigs escaped because I forgot to put the iron trapdoor just up here. So that's probably why there aren't quite so many pigs here. I can see a baby pig right there. He's not really making his way. I can't get him. Okay. Maybe someday he'll make his way down there. No? Okay. Well, then he'll grow up and then he'll be one of our adult pigs up here, our cedar pigs. So that's fine. Another thing that happened was that a creeper blew up right around here while I was standing AFK right there, waiting to see if the chicken farm was working. So he blew up the glass, blew up the chests, and the bed as well, so I had to run from spawn to see if the items were still there. I ended up losing a few diamonds, but everything else seemed to be intact, and then I took the opportunity to condense my storage area into a 1 wide 4 chest area like this. So up here I have the cobblestone and other types of stone, and I also found some snow a little bit further away. And here we have all the many different types of dyes. Then we have glass, stained glass, and then some dyed wool. Then we have all our redstone stuff here, and mob drops down here. Down here we have lots of food. A nice fishing rod, which thankfully was not blown up by the creeper. And then down here we have everything that's wooden, and then some tools down here. Actually, I'm going to put the hoe away. And yeah, that's it for our pig farm. The next order of business is to create a sugarcane farm here in this 3x3 space. And after that, we're going to create a cow farm in this 4 wide space. And then directly opposite on the other side, we'll create a sheep farm in this space. And then here I'm going to be pushing the wall back slightly and then making our cocoa bean farm just there. So everything should fit in quite nicely. So I'm going to get started on the sugarcane farm. So now we also have a sugarcane farm. A very compact design here. Again by Skippy 6 Gaming. I'll put the link in the video description for his tutorial. We have some sugarcane inside a minecart hopper, and then once the sugarcane grows, it bud powers these pistons and the sugarcane is harvested. I'll just show you here what happens if the sugarcane grows. Then the pistons get bud powered and they go into the hoppers here. And then you can just take the sugarcane out. Not the most efficient design in the world, but it's compact. It fits in very nicely in our 3 high room. And at present all we need sugar for is to make cake anyway, so it's not too bad. So that's the sugarcane farm. Next I'll be tackling the cow farm and the sheep farm. They're going to be exactly the same design, just mirrored on both sides. So I think I'll just make both of these before we see each other again. Here we see our cow farm over here, and here we have basically the same farm mirrored and for sheep instead. While I was breeding the sheep and the cows up and letting them grow up, I also built this cocoa bean farm. So I think I'll just start by showing you this simple cocoa bean farm. We have a button down here which is linked up to some redstone behind the wall and then goes up to a torch tower just back there, and another redstone line to this dispenser which has a water bucket in it. So if we just press this button, the water flows down, harvests all the cocoa beans, and the beans flow into this hopper which then run into the chest just here. So I've already harvested some, and then you have to replant them manually. Like so. So a pretty simple cocoa bean farm with a little bit of automation. And it fits in quite nicely here. I had to make a small corridor for this, but put some detail on the walls with these item frames with half slab, which looks quite nice. Looks like it's holding up the torch. For our cow farm, we used a design by Xisumavoid. I'll put a link to his tutorial in the description, which uses the piston translocator bug or feature, call it what you like, where if we press this button, water activates from the dispenser just there, and the cows bob up and down, and we're able to breed them. And then the babies are produced. You'll see some there actually, bobbing up and down. Then we turn the water off, let them calm down. And then once we activate the piston goes into the cows, and then when it retracts, the babies are pulled out, if you see here. So you see, the babies are pulled out, and then once they grow up, their head goes into the lava, they're cooked, and the cooked steak goes into this chest. I also added some paintings here, because I thought this corner looked a bit bland. The same thing over here with the sheep farm. It's exactly the same design as this one, except we have sheep. So if we just try this one out. Activate the water so you can breed them. Turn the water off again. Let them calm down. And then it's the same thing. The piston goes in and then moves the babies over here just under the lava. When they grow up, then the cooked mutton goes into the chest. So they need to stop jumping. Oh. Stop. Yeah, there we go. Same thing as the cow farm. So those are the last three farms. We have the sheep farm, cow farm, and the cocoa bean farm. I thought we'd go up to the ship and take a little dive off the top. Our entrance is here. Let's try and get onto the top of the ship via the front sail. See if I can make it across here. Okay, that's good. So I'm actually very happy with how this base has turned out, or this farm area has turned out. I like the way that there's something going on everywhere. There's a button, animals, stuff on the walls, and we can make a lot of different types of food here. And I thought we could actually end the episode by making a small display on the wall for all the different food types that we're able to make here in this area. We have the bread from the wheat, and then we have the carrots and the potato from this area here. And I also found an oak tree, so we could eat some apples if we wish. And from fishing, we can get a fish, salmon, and something I forgot to mention earlier, you can actually eat this type of fish. I think it's called a clownfish or something. And since we have mushroom cows over here, we can use a wooden bowl, right click, and we get mushroom stew. So that's something else that we can eat as well. And then we also have our animals. We can get steak, pork chop, mutton, and chicken. So these go up there as well. Steak, pork chop, mutton, chicken. And since we built our small cocoa bean farm, we can also have cookies now. And since we have sugar, wheat, eggs, and milk from the cows, we can also make cake. And I thought we could actually end the episode by making a cake. We'll need some milk from the cows. And we'll need some sugar from the sugarcane farm. We'll need some eggs, or a single egg from the chicken farm. And then we need some wheat from our little farm area here. So let's make this cake for any visitors that we might get coming to our base. Maybe they're hungry. So we need to make sugar. Maybe they're hungry and they need some food so they can have a slice of cake while they're taking a look at the base. So the milk goes at the top, and there we go. There's the cake. Thankfully you get the buckets back, so you don't waste any iron. And I think we'll just put the cake somewhere a little bit out of the way, maybe there. So I think that quite nicely concludes the food farm challenge as set by the other members for us newbies. We've built a farm area which is very compact, looks quite nice, and with the ingredients that we get from these farms, we're able to make a lot of different food types or food items. And if we actually take a look at the nourishment table on the Minecraft wiki, we see that there's not really much reason to make all this different food items. It's just for fun. Once you have the meats, obviously ignoring the golden apples and the golden carrots because we don't have a gold farm. But once you have the meat, then you're pretty much set in terms of nourishment, so all the other farms are pretty much just for fun at this point. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.